Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We are Flicks and Feels. I'm Lauren and this is Harry, and today we have something just a little bit different for you guys. We are going to be talking over the Stranger Things season 5, episodes 5, 6 and 7, so the kind of second volume release, and we'll just do a bit of a debrief, bit of a thoughts on what we thought of each episode individually and then how it kind of works as a whole kind of second half of a season.
Yeah, for sure. And so we've got our full reactions and all our stuff over on our Patreon still, but we are going to be uploading it a little bit further down the line onto YouTube. So everything's been a little bit litigious at the moment, isn't it? So I figured we're having to play it safe a little bit, but it will come onto YouTube eventually. But yeah, if you did want to see our immediate reactions and everything, that is on Patreon. So, but yeah, I think we'd try something a little bit different.
Yeah.
Actually sit down and have a considered review of everything rather than just the initial immediate response.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll kick off with episode 5 and we'll kind of just talk through kind of some of the scenes,
go through
things and thoughts that we were having, where we thought it was heading, and then just thoughts and feelings on the episodes as a whole, I guess. So yeah, episode 5, a lot actually happened. I felt like a lot happened in the episode. At the time, I think initially it was a kind of oh, it was a good episode, but I didn't even really process how much actually happened. There was quite a lot of chopping and changing between different scenes and different characters. And thinking back now to all the key points, I'm like, oh, there's actually quite a lot of important parts. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, sometimes episodes seem to cover a lot of ground and sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
And I felt that episode 5 covered a lot of ground personally.
Yeah. So it started off with obviously straight from the aftermath of the big reveal in episode 4.
Yeah.
So it started off with obviously them realizing that Will is the sorcerer.
Will is the sorcerer,
and the kids were taken, right? So Henry's got them in his kind of mind prison.
Yes, and it's attaching them to those weird tree things that kind of siphon up things or siphon stuff into them.
Yeah. And it still had very much the vibe of how episode 4 ended. And it was still I was still quite hyped up and oh yeah, this is awesome.
Yes.
And all the interactions between them as they were finding out that Will had just done this this when he was torn up on the ground.
That was quite cool.
And then they're telling him that that was Will.
Yeah, because everyone would just suspect it was Al, and it'd be or something weird had gone wrong or happened.
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool for them to be oh, it's actually Will, and he kind of went through such an awful time initially being taken and had all these really bad things happening, and then it's he kind of has a cool superpower a bit from it. So I feel that was quite cool for them to find out that moment. And obviously that last part of episode 4 was so epic, so it was a really cool transition to carry on with that little bit. I did personally, just for the initial first little part of the episode, feel the acting and the scripting wasn't quite as good as the ending of episode 4. That was just a personal thing. I don't know if it just felt a little bit stilted, particularly between Will and Joyce. I think it was just the reaction was just, maybe just not quite how it would naturally be, maybe. It wasn't bad. I wouldn't be oh, it was bad acting. I just think it wasn't quite as good because we just had this epic scene, obviously the episode before, which was incredible. But it was a very, very small part that I felt. Initially, I was kind of oh no, what if this isn't going to be good? I was really worried. And then the scenes kind of carried on, and I just felt we were straight back into it just being as good. So
I think I mentioned it during the reaction as well, that I wasn't sure whether that was maybe deliberate.
Yeah.
Because it's she's just seen her son and her little kid that she's known his whole life. And suddenly he's controlling Demagogue into the air and snapping them all up. And whether she was a little bit just didn't know how to interact with him. Suddenly it's suddenly he's different.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't sure whether that was maybe why it kind of felt that way.
Yeah.
Or it might have just been a bit more stilted.
I think it just felt, for me, it just felt stilted. But not long-lived or anything like that. It was just initially I was kind of oh, okay. I feel sometimes characters can do that when you've just had this epic moment and you've just really fallen back in love with your character. Will becoming like the sorcerer was so epic, and it was like, yes, this is incredible. It's a pretty big high to come like down from, and I don't think there's any really good way to kind of carry on without being a little bit disappointed, because it's like he's just going to go back to being like human, and like you know that's always going to be a bit not necessarily disappointing, but do you know what I mean? So I feel like that was just one little critique there earlier on for me, but then like I said, it carried on and it was really good.
8's fully in it.
She's immersed, she's not just a little sort of side quest. It feels like she's fully being pulled back in. I will say, for that bit where they snuck out and all the soldiers went in and thought 8 was actually still there. I do love her little mind tricks are very cool. Like even it got me for a second, like obviously there's been a gap. And it's
I think we're like, they left her. But no,
it's just because there was a gap between the episodes, and this is something I felt and I did comment on when we were watching them. There's always such a risk when you break up seasons with quite a big gap between them.
It was a month between these ones.
That you're gonna like, unless you rewatch and binge, which maybe we should have, but we kind of didn't want to do that. We wanted just to keep like our initial thoughts there and like not really watch and nitpick too much, so that we like we just didn't want to know where things were heading. We just wanted to watch it and enjoy it. So the issue with doing that is that you kind of forget little bits, and I think I kind of had forgotten that they were going to take her and they were taking her. So I was like, oh my god, like she's still chained up, like where have they gone? And then when she did a little hand flicker and it swapped, I was like, oh, okay. But I do love that little mind trick she can do.
It's very useful.
It's very, very cool, and I do like that it's quite different from Owl's powers, because I feel like it would be kind of boring if they were like exactly the same. So it's quite cool that she has that really different, unique power. But
it's kind of cool that Dr. K saw through it as well.
It was really cool, and it was cool that it was just a little finger twitch that she was like, okay. And she still
shows that like Dr. K is like switched on.
Yes, and she's still thinking Owl is like the baddie, and it's like Owl has like kidnapped her kind of thing. 8 in general, what are your thoughts with her kind of being back in?
I mentioned quite a few times, we'll probably get into it as we go through the episodes even more, but I mentioned during the reactions how it felt like she was shoehorned in at times, and it was like, it didn't feel overly fluid. A lot of her scenes, and again maybe it was just because I don't know her as much, and like you know all the other characters so well. That's suddenly you've got another new person that we've only really seen once, like just lumped in the middle and very central. I kind of had the same opinion as Hopper, right? Hopper gets quite very like, what's she doing here? Why is she here? Like, why is she talking alone? Why is she taking Hopper's scenes?
Exactly. I know. She's like trying to talk all the reason when that's normally what Hopper does. I'm not entirely sure on her, because it's one of those things where I feel like she didn't need to be brought back into it. And like at the end of the season, you'd be like, oh, that's weird. They forgot about closing her story up. Like you would be like, oh, that's weird, but it wouldn't be a big deal because she wasn't super like main character.
She was just like off in the city.
Exactly.
Doing her thing, right?
But I can see why they want to bring her in to actually fully close off the whole show. Is this the best time and place to bring her back in? I'm not sure. It's one of those things where when you're so late in the day, if it depends whether it's going to be super relevant moving forward in the storyline or not. If it's just to kind of like tie her story off, it could have been done at any point, and it feels a bit like, oh, we better quickly like put that in because it's the last couple of episodes. But because they've brought her in, it's kind of like, oh, maybe she is quite relevant to the next ones going forward. And we have always kind of thought that it needed to be a bit of a 3-prong attack, like Will, Owl, and 8 to take Vecna down, and or you thought it could have been a 4-prong attack with Vecna helping to take down the mind flayer.
That's what I was kind of thinking it was going to be. But
that's kind of why we thought maybe that's also why they brought her back in, because it was like, oh, they needed the extra power. Yeah, she's interesting. I'm not sure how I feel just yet, and I'll say a couple of my theories at the end of what I think about with her. But there's something about her that I'm like, I don't know if it's like, we just don't know her, or is it I just don't trust her, like as a character. Is something big gonna happen? Or is it just a bit like, oh gosh, she's just kind of been brought into the mix, and it doesn't really feel like she needs to be brought into the mix. But we'll wait and see, and we'll talk a bit more about her obviously for the next couple of episodes. could be nothing, but it's always good to point these things out in case we end up being right later on.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
There was a little highlight moment of Hopper's like bomb vest.
Oh yeah, well, they zoomed in on it, right?
Yeah, so again, I don't know if that was just like a prominent thing to be like, that was the big thing he was going to do, and to show like the significance of it, or whether that is something that's going to come up later. Maybe somebody else might use it, or... Yeah, but I'm just throwing that out there in case I could be right.
Yeah, no, I think you might be.
But who knows? But yeah.
I think you probably will be.
That felt kind of, like an important shot.
So Dustin and Steve end up fighting.
Yes.
Like a bromance fight.
Yeah, a much needed one. I feel like they were such best buds, and they've been like so... Like, they've been fighting so much because Eddie died.
Yeah.
And it was obviously kind of the main part of the conflict, because they obviously felt different about that, and Dustin was so hurt.
Yeah.
And we were just, both of us kind of said it, we're like, they just need to throw a punch, like, they just need to fight, because once they fight, they can move on, but they're just not doing it. And so we were like waiting and waiting, and then it did kick off.
I'm not sure if everyone like experiences it, sort of thing, and I don't know whether it's different for some people or whatnot, but often when you are like really good friends with someone and then it like gets really negative,
really snarky.
Sometimes you actually need a fight, and with guys sometimes it gets physical.
Yeah, it could be either a screaming match or a physical fight. It needed to be something, get it all on the table.
Like the amount of times I've had like falling outs with friends and stuff, and then obviously always playing rugby and boxing are like the two sports I've done, and so it normally would end up in some sort of like, maybe not always punching, but like wrestling and like kind of on the cusp of it.
Yeah.
And afterwards, it normally is like 10 times better.
Yeah.
Get out of your system and you're like best buds again. Sort of thing. And so that was definitely kind of what was needed.
Definitely.
In this moment.
Yeah.
It did linger a bit more still. It didn't happen straight away.
Yeah.
Reconciliation.
No, I think it was also because Steve said some stuff that was pretty hurtful.
Yeah.
Like he did really bring up Eddie in a way that was like hurtful, but he was so hurt. He's jealous. Yeah. And I think he also was just so hurt that he just kind of said it to actually hurt Dustin a wee bit.
Yeah.
Which was really sad. So I think that's why they didn't fully reconcile at that moment. But I think it was good that they had that, and that was...
Dustin found Brenner's secret lab.
Yeah, well, his little...
Or secret office, right?
There was some sort of office, yeah, and lots of notes and things that kind of
showed that they created the... No, they didn't. The scientists
had created it, or they were exploring it, and I think I'm still not entirely sure on that part.
Yeah.
But they were looking into this kind of orby energy source thing that was floating directly above the energy plant. Yeah, and there was notes on that.
And so that's what's causing the stuff to melt in the building as well.
Yeah, I guess.
So I guess it's almost like it's emitting like a radiation, energy, heat sort of thing.
There's something happening there.
Melting the whole building.
And I will say, with these scenes, there were some really cool shots with the kind of melted soldiers like into the building.
Yeah.
That was really cool. I thought that was one of my like highlights in terms of like a beautiful like cinematic shot.
It was
like
cool,
it was just
horror
really
sort of look, right?
Very cool. And it kind of took me back a wee bit to season 1 when we first saw the Demis.
Yes.
It gave me that kind of
that sort of those sort of early scenes.
And the early scene where there was the lab and they ran into the elevator, and as the elevator doors were closing, it gave me that kind of vibe again. And I loved that. Like I felt like that was a nice throwback. So that was a really cool scene.
We had, what was the teacher's name? I can't remember his name.
Oh.
The science teacher.
Yeah, what was his name? I forgot him.
Well,
they were bringing him back into the loop though anyway.
Yeah.
They wanted to bring him back in to help create, was it like a telemetry to help track Dustin in the upside down?
I get why they brought him back in, because he's like featured quite a lot in earlier seasons, and he's been quite pivotal for the boys' development of their interest in science and that sort of stuff.
And he does really love Dustin.
Yes.
But
again, it was like another character that's not taken up time, but a little bit.
I felt like it was kind of like we did, again, I don't think we really needed his storyline wrapped up. So unless, again, he's really pivotal towards the end of the season, nice to have him back in there. Didn't feel super needed. It felt like, again, they're obviously trying to create all these things like the sciencey type things, like the telemetry to track him and things. And so they're trying to make it super realistic of like, oh, well, these people couldn't make it without a science teacher helping.
Yeah.
But I feel like I wouldn't question it too much. Like if the kids just made something, you know, I'd be like, oh, how'd they know that? And then I'd move on pretty quick. It wouldn't be like a big flaw for me in the storyline.
I think definitely for the final season when there's 3 episodes to go.
We don't need
I think it's probably fine for them to just have driven around with the thing to find it sort of thing. But
just luck or something. I don't know.
I get it, but I don't know if I would have maybe bothered with it.
I don't know.
Which are not the Duffer Brothers, so I don't get to make these shows.
No, exactly. Our opinions don't matter.
No, sadly.
No, but it just felt, like a little bit like not super needed. But that's okay. That's all right. I think one of the next big sort of moments was we found out 8 had been getting her blood drained.
Yes, that was a good scene, actually.
That was quite a good revelation because we weren't obviously entirely sure why she had been taken by the army. Why was she being caged and kind of kept? And so I
thought they were just wanting to use her power originally. I think back in season 4.
I thought the same too.
I was thinking that they were just using her. Originally, I thought they were using her to make it look like the wall was there, and it wasn't.
Yes.
Obviously, it was not the case.
Yeah.
And then I thought they might just be trying to use her for, her mind's power.
Exactly, because it's a great power to have. But no, she's draining her blood.
Draining her blood and infusing it into pregnant mothers.
Yes, trying to make more kids with powers, basically.
Restart Papa's
experiment.
Whole thing.
Mm-hmm. So that was...
But it was failing.
Yeah.
They're all dying.
And I quite liked that was part of that storyline to be, like, if you're going to have her in it, like 8 in it, that I'm glad that's the route that took. Because for me, it's like, yes, that makes sense. Like, they want to create, basically, another 11 to A, probably take out the original 11 because they don't like her, she won't work with them, and then B, they can create their little like army of kids that can do these crazy things and then go and fight the world, I guess. So I am glad that's the route that took, and I like that it was in a negative way that they're doing it on pregnant women and unborn babies and it's not working.
Yes.
Like I thought that just was a really obviously awful dark twist, but it really felt like it was right for the genre and for where the show was heading.
It was good like shocking images.
Exactly.
Like seeing her run through all those rooms and you got all the women on their back with like obviously the massive bellies and stuff. And she's running through and you've got one after the other after the other.
Yeah, because you thought it was just like one and then it just kept going. And it was really reminiscent of what Al had seen with her mum.
Yeah.
When like Al had kind of gone through the mine and watched it, it was the exact same. It's like Papa did to her mum. So it was kind of
And I don't know where we found out at that moment in time, but at some point during these episodes, you kind of realise that that's why they want 11 as well. It's not because they just want to stop her or use her powers. They're wanting her because she's the equal of Henry.
Exactly.
And so they want
not
her
right.
blood to put into people to restart the whole thing.
Exactly.
So it's, again, it's even more messed up than what it was like probably thinking.
Yeah.
So that was I quite enjoyed that scene. Obviously it's like messed up scene.
No, I agree. I thought it was a good track that they went down.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm glad, like I said, that if you're going to bring 8 back into it, that was the way that her storyline went a little bit there, because I felt like, that was a cool twist.
Yeah.
Probably one of the better parts of the episode for me. I feel like it was just like a really cool, I think deep down you probably thought you might have actually kind of suspected that's what they would do, and then to actually see it, it's like, oh, okay, this is like really wild. So definitely thought visually and storyline wise that was one of the better moments of the episode. Really cool.
Joyce essentially becomes like super cheerleader for Will, right?
I know. What a turnaround.
Encouraging him, which I guess like she's trying to show that she believes in him and trusts him.
Yeah.
And so she and the others encourage him to try to find a way to obviously get in touch with the hive mind, and this is where the name Shock Jock, I presume, comes from the episode.
Probably, yeah. I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah.
So Will went through and went like into Vecna's mind.
Yeah, first of all, he looked through Derek's eyes at one point, didn't he?
He was, to get a gist of where they were and if they were safe, I think, wasn't it? Yeah. And then
eventually he got into Vecna, and that was after we'd followed Max and Holly for a little bit as they're running through, trying to escape. Yes,
going through all of Holly's memories of when she first met Henry, or at the time it was Mr. Watson, to work out sort of where her body was in time and things like that.
Yeah,
so they were escaping, and then
they're getting right towards the end of like the last little to see the last big red kind of landscape
Yes.
shown.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
they have to go through to get to the final portals. But and then Henry appears.
Yes.
He's like tracked him down. There was a cool transition where he's like coming down the stairs. He's like all like,
Oh, it was so cool because he went from Henry or like Mr. What's-its look.
Yeah.
He like was cracking his neck into becoming one.
Yes,
And then
yeah.
as he was coming down, his hand was becoming Vecna. And it was such a cool transition. Like I really liked that part visually.
Yeah.
It looked super cool.
Yeah,
and it was again one of the highlights of the episode, I think. Like it was a cool way
definitely.
to kind of show all the personalities and just that really casual transition of just becoming more and more evil. And
that was
at
a
that
really good scene.
moment,
It was really effective at showing
Yes.
that transition as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, it didn't need long. It was nice and quick and it was, very effective. And that's when he started to attack Max because he was obviously just going to kill Max because she's basically just being a troublemaker for him and he doesn't
he
need
wants
her
to kill her.
anymore. And he hasn't been able to find her for ages because she's been hiding in the caves. And so he, starts to attack.
Squeezing the life out of her, and he
Yeah.
actually like
Her heart rate was kind of going inside to flatline, and that's when Will clocks through to Vecna and speaks to Max directly and obviously says like, get out and run.
the actor for Will is great at those
Those parts is when
like
he's
where he
highlighted.
like is really really amped up and he's like shaking and is and obviously they've got them with the white eyes and stuff but he's like fully, I don't even know what's the right word for it. He's like possessed.
Yeah,
sort of
he's
thing.
so possessed, he's so visceral, it's so effective.
Yeah, he does those scenes really well.
And that's what I mean from the beginning, because it's like we went from him basically being like that at the end of episode 4 to just his regular, and it just felt like such a drop.
Yeah.
But when he gets into that character, it's like, yes, like give me more, like it's so good.
And so he's having like this mental fight with Vecna inside Vecna's body.
Yeah.
In when he's and saves Max essentially because Vecna has to release Max.
Yes. And he starts to like break his body, like he breaks
snaps his leg,
ankle,
right?
yeah. And at this
And
point,
he talks through him.
what is crazy is that Max doesn't realize like that it's Will. Like she thinks it's 11.
Yes.
It's like super wild. So that's a really probably the best. It's the best scene of this
for me
episode
it was,
for sure. Yeah.
And we
So-
like those kind of scenes.
we do like the gore,
Yeah.
the really intense, and then you're like on the edge of your seat, not knowing where it's gonna go. That was super good. And
when he talks through him, he's like, Max, if you can hear me, run.
yes. And it's like run.
And that was great. You can see the fight within Vecna's body going on of them two like fighting each other within there.
Fighting for control. It was very cool.
So then Max legs it, and then Vecna kicks him out, right? He expels him from his body essentially.
He clocks on that he can get into it. So he's like, whoa, you've taken power of me, which is kind of crazy because it hasn't happened.
Yeah, you could tell that it was like really unexpected for him to start with. And then he's like, tells him to get out and then gets more and more animated himself, yelling at Will to get out of his body, I guess. One point of that is I thought it would have been cool if he'd have stayed super calm the whole time. So obviously he kind of matches Will's energy a bit by expelling him from the body, but I thought it would have been kind of cool to have Will working incredibly hard to fight Vecna, and then Vecna's just really relaxed almost, but like sinister, and it's just like expelling him without having to stress too much, just to show kind of how difficult it's going to be for Will and 11 and stuff.
I think so. Yeah, it felt...
They're still great.
Yeah, I agree. I think he wasn't super calm and he wasn't so like, get out. Like, you know, it was somewhere in the middle and I felt like it needed to be one or the other. It needed to either be like full blown, like screaming and like spit flying kind of thing. Or it needed to be super calm. And it wasn't quite either. So I feel like just that little bit of intensity in that moment wasn't quite what I would have hoped for. It was still really good, but I think afterwards thinking about it, I'm like, oh, that could have just been a little bit cooler.
It was still one of the best. It was probably, for me, it was the best moment in the episode.
Oh, it still is the best, for sure. It just could be a little bit different.
I just find the most sinister, unnerving, evil sort of stuff as being really calm.
Yeah.
And just doing
like,
evil, horrible stuff without breaking a sweat.
And it just takes you off guard. It would have really taken like Will off guard to be like, oh, okay, he just, like, I haven't like shaken him at all. Whereas like, and this is like, oh, he actually did, I guess, shake him a wee bit. Like, yeah. But it was very, very cool. And then the very...
It goes back to the power plant.
Yes, for the very ending of the episode, which was basically that Dustin sort of worked out that it wasn't really an energy field and that if you attack it, we're all going to die, he says. And Nancy being Nancy... shoots at it.
Just shoots at it, ends it there.
I would say the endings of these shows, they do a great cliffhanger.
Yes.
Like they're very good at just doing something so like, oh, like I need to know what happens, and they just don't give it to you. So I will say that is another good ending in that sense. And we don't know, like, has everybody died, or has that part of the world died? We have no idea. So it was quite.
Well, because Dustin's hysterical, like trying to get to him to stop from doing it.
And Nancy's just kind of like, should I? And then Jonathan's like, maybe don't do it because we don't know. And then she just is like, meh, and then just does it anyway. I'm like, oh my gosh, those two are always like that.
Yeah. And at that point, you fully think that, I guess they're all dead.
Yeah. Well, that's what we've been told.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're told is going to happen. But then obviously we see in the next episode, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
But what did you think of that episode overall?
Overall, I thought it was good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's my favourite episode I've ever seen of Stranger Things.
Yeah.
But it's definitely up there. Like it covered a lot of ground. A lot of really interesting things happened. Like I said, I feel like because the storyline is so stretched in so many different ways with different people doing different things, it can be a little overwhelming and a little underwhelming at times in the sense that it's really hard to keep up with what's happening. And then sometimes there's moments where you're like, that didn't need to be there, or that was super important and we didn't focus in on it enough. And I think this episode was possibly a little bit that way. Not too much, but there was a couple of times it's like, yeah, we don't probably need like another little bit of the storyline to be tacked on. Like you could just give us more of that intense moment and like really stretch out the really cool scenes, like where Max is getting attacked by Vecna. Like those scenes could have been a little bit longer and more intense. But overall, I thought it was pretty good. I think outside of that first few minutes, I just thought I didn't personally really enjoy the scripting and the acting. I thought was just not. I just didn't really enjoy it as much. Outside of that, it picked up and I enjoyed it. Yeah.
What would you give it out of 10?
Oh, I wasn't prepared for that.
I know, I just stuck that one in, sorry.
What would you give it out of 10?
Well, for me, you think about it. For me as the episode as a whole, before I get to the ranking, I thought it kind of matched the other good episodes for me.
Okay.
So for, I guess, season 5, episode 4, obviously that was peak one of that first match for me personally. I thought this one carried it on quite relatively well. Like I wasn't underwhelmed or anything. I thought, okay, I'm hyped. So when this is going, it's exactly pretty much how I want it. So I personally really enjoyed episode 5.
Yeah. Okay.
I think overall, can't you do your rank if you thought about it?
I think I'm probably somewhere around 7.5 to an 8.
Okay.
I would say I did really enjoy it. I was on the edge of my seat because I need to know the answers, but I wasn't on the edge of my seat in the same way of like seeing Will become the sorcerer.
Yeah.
And there was some other seasons where I felt like that as well, like Billy and things like that. There was so many scenes with him where I was like, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm on the edge of my seat. I can't even think and talk. There's so much happening. So I feel like this is why I'd give that more of a 7.5 to an 8, just because I know there's been better episodes.
Yeah.
But it was still good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I think my scale must be different to yours because I feel like I almost enjoyed it more, but I feel like I'd give it a 7.
Okay, yeah. Well, I don't know. It's really hard to rank. I have to have like them all on the screen to like judge, but just my initial feeling, I'm going to say about 7.5.
Yeah, like, because I feel like the season 4 sort of stuff, I loved season 4.
Yeah.
Especially like when Max was taken up.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't remember if it was episode 3 or 4. But there's a few episodes in there that were kind of around the 9 mark.
Yes.
For me.
And
maybe a 7.5.
Yeah, I'm thinking somewhere between the 7 and 7.5. I think would be good. I think a good episode. I probably wouldn't it's not an episode where I'd rewatch again and again and again and still get like the same feeling and chills.
Yeah.
Whereas some of those earlier seasons,
Yeah.
there's episodes that I'd watch
Just
time
don't
and
watch
again.
just that episode.
Exactly. And I would still feel the same.
Yeah.
So I feel, I think a 7 is probably fair.
Yeah, I think I'd go with a 7 personally
I'd
for
go with a 7.
episode 5.
Yeah, episode 5.
That's season 5 of Stranger Things.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to do this again for the next episodes, and we'll be right back with those ones. All right, so episode 6, we'll try and make these a bit more succinct.
Yeah.
So ended with the cliffhanger, right? Mm-hmm. Of, oh my god, they're all going to die.
Yeah.
And then, oh wait, no, they didn't die.
They didn't die. Classic. Yeah, to be fair, it was probably never going to be that they died, but
No.
it's one of those things where you're like, something epic could happen and it would be super cool.
Yeah.
But unfortunately not. They just annoyed the
They call it exotic matter.
exotic matter. Yeah, they just annoyed it.
Yeah, it kind of blew out, didn't it? And
it's
it ripped a hole in the wall and all that sort of
Kind
stuff.
of crazy that the book said, like, if you shoot or disrupt it, it would destroy everything. It's like, I guess a small bullet is enough. But you know what I mean? It feels like, why make it seem so big of a deal to then it kind of doesn't really do anything?
And this is where we really, obviously Dustin's telling everyone what's happening.
Yeah.
Whereas the Upside Down's never been this other world. It's always been the bridge.
It's the bridge.
To this other world.
Yeah.
Whether it's another planet or other universe or something. I think it's just another planet.
I think, like another,
But yeah, so the Upside Down is just a bridge.
Yeah.
It's just a way to get to the other side.
I'm not sure how I feel about this part of the storyline.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I feel like, it's quite cool that there's like another dimension that's like completely unexplored. Like we know nothing about it, never seen it, never heard
Good
of
for
it.
a spin-off show.
Good for a spin-off show. Super, like, could be super cool and super interesting. I'm just really cautious that it's like there's a couple of episodes left.
Yeah.
We're not going to, like, are they going to brush over it quite quickly? Are we going to learn a lot about it? So my concern is that if it brushes over it quite quickly, don't introduce it, because it was quite a confusing concept to get your head around. And I was quite, like, confused as to, like, who created it? Who knew about it? How was it found? So, like, the Gorgons and stuff originally come from there. Like, it was just, like, a lot to process that I'm like, unless they really dive into it in the next couple of episodes, it feels kind of like this shouldn't be brought in literally at the last minute as, like, a bit of a Hail Mary to, like, explain things that, I don't know, I don't think...
And for like, casual viewers, which we are, like, we are not...
Yeah.
We don't know the lore of
No.
everything, and we haven't seen... loads of other theories and stuff. We don't. We've deliberately tried to avoid that as well. To be fair, because we don't want everyone to tell us what's going to happen. But so for those of us who don't know every little backstory and back idea, it is a little bit like not confusing, but just Christ, okay, a whole other
thing to get around. Like I feel like it could be super, super cool. So I'm a little bit excited to see where it heads. Like I feel like there could be some really cool stuff come from it. But I just remember at the time being like, what's happening? I don't understand what's happening. Like it was just kind of like, and then you still were trying to focus on the actual characters because you saw that like Jonathan and Nancy had got messed up by it. And so it was really hard to like split my mind between like, I'm trying to like work out how this works and like what this could mean, but still care about the characters that we like know and love kind of thing. So I'm interested to see where that goes. I'm just going to hold off.
The cynical side of you could say that the more questions they create and leave open, they can make more and more spin-off shows for and sideshows and all this sort of stuff. So, I mean, from a studio perspective,
I guess
it's good to add loads of other stuff in that has just enough intrigue that you like. I want to know about it.
Exactly.
But maybe they don't bother even trying to answer it, but they might still.
Yeah, they might. Yeah, so I think it's an okay thing. It's just quite like a big thing, like a big revelation to learn.
Yeah.
Not just in the last season, but in the last couple of episodes of the last season. Like if it was in episode 1 or 2, it would be like, whoa. And you could have time to really adjust and learn a bit more about it. It's just a lot to take in so late. But I still am holding out hope that it could mean something super cool. But I just don't know what yet.
Yeah. I'm sure they will expand on it in the last couple of episodes.
Sure. Yeah.
Fingers crossed anyway. Other major points to the episode is obviously Vecna has Will.
Yes.
Up on the wall of tentacles or the tentacle wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's kind of like doing this whole mental torture thing,
was punishing him, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, punishing him for infiltrating his mind.
And he's like, again, making him feel terrible by telling him, like,
Yeah.
you tell him how weak he was, and
Yeah, I picked you. He's like,
he tells him you're my spy again, right?
yes. So what I thought also right before he said that was really interesting was that he helped build the tunnels.
Oh, yeah.
You were my builder.
Yes.
That was wild.
So
like,
while he was sleeping in one of the early seasons,
and his eyes were doing that crazy thing when
he
they were
actually was
closed.
controlling the vines, building the
Yes.
tunnels at that moment in time.
Whereas we always thought it was him kind of like exploring or like having a vision of showing what was happening.
Yeah.
Like it was more
Yeah.
of like a...
But he knew it all because he built it.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Great one, Will. Thanks for that. No, I thought that was quite cool. I thought that was like a nice little thing to add into the storyline. Like, doesn't really change where the storyline necessarily is going to go, but it's like quite a nice little like, oh, okay, cool. Like that's a...
And also it's just mentally destroying Will, because it's Will's doing his best to fight back against Vecna. It's like, not only are you weak-minded, you're my spy, you built everything for me, you've caused all of this to happen.
Exactly, you were part of it.
It's like you've done this yourself.
Yeah.
So
Just
like, you are worthless.
He's really...
and all this sort of stuff. Yeah.
It's really good that they've done that, because I think it's like really building up Vecna, and then just making it show that it's quite complex. Like Vecna's like really great at manipulating things and people, and he's just puppeteering everything. And I thought that was a really cool thing. And then like you said, was that I'm going to use you one more time to be my spy, and it was like, not again, because last time he did that, he blimmin' went and like got all those people all shot up in the lab.
And
it was wild, and it was
what was her partner's name?
Bob was there at the time.
That's how Bob got killed.
Not
like
directly from Will, but from that moment.
That,
So that was quite like not again. We can't be doing this again. That was a big kind of revelation, I think, for the episodes.
Yeah.
And visually, very pleasing again. I think anything kind of in the upside down with Vecna and the tentacles and things always looks really good. And him with his big kind of clawy fingers, like going towards their mouth and stuff.
On his hand.
Always so good.
Stuff,
and like Will's eyes were like bleeding lots. There's
some good image, really good imagery.
Really good imagery, Elle kind of gets him out of that, because she's returned to Hawkins.
Yep, so she's back in
Hopper.
town.
She's lugged Aid along with her. But so Elle, we'll just finish that little bit, is that Elle goes through and obviously like releases him, which is like a nice moment, because we haven't seen Elle in the Upside Down a lot recently.
She's not actually in these 3 episodes all that much.
No, and if she is, she's really just there as like a supporting character. Yeah. But she's brought Aid along with her.
Yep.
Eight's part of the gang, it feels like, and I don't trust her at all.
No, neither do I. It shows them having a bit of a argument, right? Well, a bicker with 8 and Hopper and Mike, which is kind of nice that Hopper and Mike are kind of like
on side for once,
teamed up sort of thing. Because obviously in the early seasons, I got real annoyed with Mike, didn't I?
You didn't like it.
Which season was it where it was real snappy back to Hopper?
It was definitely season 3 or 4.
Yeah.
It's more recent. I think 4 quite specifically.
It might have been, And I went off him for
you did.
a good chunk of time, just because of all that kind of way he was, which I guess is teenagers and stuff. But it's nice to see those two were kind of unified in that moment. Trying to protect Al and like let Al make the decision for herself and not try to like discourage her too much. Like it felt like 8 was trying to like worm her way in and be a bit manipulative. Like it wasn't just like, I think this is a bad idea. It wasn't just that. It was kind of like she was undermining.
And trying to convince her to like do other like things or to not do certain things. And it just felt kind of,
even though she's like Hopper called her 11, right? And then 8's like, her name's Jane.
Yes.
Like, her name's Jane Hopper.
Exactly. You tell her. Don't you come in here and start with that. Like, yes, you're her like sister by default and you grew up with her for a number of years. However, Hop for the last few years has completely taken her like under his wing, fed her, housed her. Yes, there's been issues between them and stuff. But, like, he has been as good of a dad to her as he could be. Like, he really does. And so I feel like it was so shady for her to be like, well, I knew, like, I grew up with her. It's like, okay, you were both kids. Like, that's great and all. But, like, don't act like you know everything. Like, you don't even know what's happened in the last 2 years. Like, everything, like, 11's done. And it's just kind of, I just felt like a little bit kind of like...
She's also then spies on... So Mike and 11 are then talking... privately.
She's literally
as well.
like glass up against, you know, listening in.
Yeah.
It's so nosy. And like,
I don't like her.
I don't,
Or trust her.
And I feel like we're meant to feel that way.
Yeah.
Like, I'm assuming we're meant to feel that way. So sorry if you don't feel that way. But that's how I feel. Like, it's really shady. And I feel like she's just trying to get little bits of information to then use again later to like, either undermine Eleven and her relationships or to try to change her mind. And there's something about it that I'm like, is it just that level? Or is there something more to it?
Yeah.
Because it just feels like there's too much of her undermining and sneaking around that I'm like, I just don't trust you.
Yeah.
And I know she's also quite powerful with the mind tricks. So I just don't know what that could mean, you know? Like, she's not just like one of the other kids. It's like she can completely convince you of something else.
Anything she wants.
Exactly. So it's really risky having her in there because she could be like, this is Vecna. And she could almost show you like a fake Vecna. Who knows?
Yeah.
You know, like it could be anything.
Hopper look like Vecna and Elle could snap him.
Really though, honestly, like it's...
I'm sure that won't happen.
If it does now, that's a great guess. But do you know what I mean? Like I just, not sure about her. So I'm just going to put a pin in that for now. But earmarking her as like something is not quite right there. Or they're just trying to bring her in and then maybe later on she gets kind of like sacrificed or dies or something.
Yeah.
But we'll see where her character goes.
I feel like they won't use her as like a sacrifice to save everyone.
No, it would be cheesy.
Because they've kind of, but they've also made it that, well, I don't know if other people think the same and they maybe don't trust her either, but if you wanted her to then be the sacrifice, you'd make it so that we loved her.
That's true.
Because if you're like, oh, I'm not sure about her, and she dies, it's like, well, okay.
Yeah, good point. So that's why I feel like she's going to double cross somehow.
Yeah.
Definitely, I can't work it out just yet. I've got a couple of theories that I might touch on later.
Yeah.
But for now, I think there's something about her, and we're going to find out what.
Yes.
The other prominent things were Holly and Max's kind of journey through.
This is huge for me.
Me too.
Oh, I'm judging.
No, I mean in the sense of like, I don't know if I'm reading this wrong, but I'm so like, this is like surely a massive storyline that's going to be loads.
So they're exploring the desert and stuff and using the spyglass and finding the mine shaft. Right?
Yes.
And so this is Henry's memory.
And this memory is the memory he's so scared of. He won't go into the cave to get Holly back. Like he needs Holly's body and mind.
Yeah.
And he will not go in. So he is so terrified of something that happened there, which is obviously the mine shaft.
And so they're down in the mine shaft. They've got the guy.
I picked up that he was science labby looking with a briefcase. But I could also be wrong. He looks that to me. But he shoots at Henry because he's a little boy. Yeah, and then Henry kills him.
And Henry kills him with a rock, which I think is understandable. So because he's loading the gun again to shoot at him again.
It's a big
so he's
thing
about
to
try and kill Henry.
It's a big thing to do as a kid. However, he is literally trying to kill you. So,
and like in the reaction I said, if Henry just had a gun and just popped him straight back, it would be like 100% like, oh yeah, okay, he tried to shoot you, you shot him, it's over. But because it was a rock, it kind of feels a bit more rough.
It feels very brutal.
But the end result is the same result.
No, exactly. Then he gets this little briefcase and starts to open it, and
it cuts away.
Yeah, we see a little bit of smoky. It looks kind of like when you have like dry ice, kind of that look.
Yeah.
And then for me, it looked like a pack or like a straight kind of. It was like grey, and it looked like there was little slots. Yeah, that's like all I could see though. Like a grate, or are they holding capsules? I don't know, but that's all we saw. And it felt really prominent because like Holly kind of went back to look at it, whereas Max was like, no, come on, we need to get out. Yeah. And only Holly saw that last little bit. And then... And
so I really want to know more about his backstory, and I'm going to jump ahead slightly now. They don't say it in episode 7 either.
No.
And so...
that moment wasn't touched on again.
We don't learn any more about it. So within episode 6... you see that part, and I personally am really wanting to know more about this little story. And I know from our comments and stuff from the videos we put up that people say, oh, it gets explained or somewhat in the play of his prequel or something.
The prequel or the Broadway show. There's some information that apparently is in that you wouldn't know if you haven't seen it.
Which, for the vast majority of the world, we don't get to see it.
No, exactly.
So it's like a very select a group of people get to go watch this. And so they know supposedly this extra bit of info.
And we haven't found out what the extra stuff is.
Which we don't want to.
We don't want to, yeah. But I'm just saying that, like, how relevant is it? Because it's like, do we need to be Googling this and finding it out? Which we're not going to do, but...
Surely it must not be the case.
I know, but that's what I'm worried is the thing. I'm thinking, my only thought with this moment is either A, it's not as big of a deal moving forward. It's like really important for like the prequel part, which obviously we're not going to be able to find out because we can't see the play. Or I wonder if it's going to be literally in the last episode, like Holly somehow gets out and it's going to be like the key to like really killing Vecna. And she's the only one that's seen it because she had paid attention to the thing.
Possibly.
But like, why drip feed it to us now and then like not really touch on it again? It kind of makes you double guess, like, because it felt really prominent. And then it doesn't touch on it. So then you kind of feel a bit like, oh, maybe it wasn't that important, but you shot it like it was. But
also there has to be something major in that briefcase because Henry's done quite a lot of bad stuff.
Yeah.
And so just being shot at and killing the guy, I don't think would be a memory that he would be terrified of ever going there.
No, God, no.
Like,
He'd be back there in a flash. So yeah, he's not worried about that.
That is not the issue. It's what is ever in the briefcase or what happens immediately after that.
Yeah, what it means or something.
Which is the thing that has caused that memory to be negative for him.
My thoughts are either there's something in it that gave him the bad power, like there's a little bit of like the mist monster, or there's something in there that he is infiltrated with, which helps him become a bit evil, and that's obviously after that he then goes and kills his family like we saw in the other season, and then Brenna brings him on.
Yeah.
Or maybe someone appears in that mine shaft like Brenna or something, and then it's, you know, like something like that continues from the memory. But it has to be so traumatic and so awful that he doesn't ever want to go back and relive it or experience it or talk about it again. And I can't think other than how he... But then he kind of likes being bad. So, like, would he not want to ever see himself as a kid getting taken to being bad? I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe he has been, like, so overwhelmed by the dark side.
Yeah.
The dark side of the Force has taken him entirely, but part of him inside is still trying to not be, maybe.
Yeah, I
so
feel
maybe
like
it's like a conflict. They can't ever revisit it for some other reason, but...
Yeah. Because he's quite a conflicting character, so I feel like he's not solely bad, and he's not solely not bad either. Like, I think he enjoys it to a point, but I think he's maybe being more and more consumed, and he's kind of been built and bred into that a bit more, obviously, with the lab. So I do wonder if he's a bit misunderstood with that, and that it possibly is just when he actually got the first experience of whatever the upside down world was, and that scared him as a kid, and it would be pretty awful.
And I'm so wanting to see more of that.
Yeah, me too.
I really wanted that to get more fleshed out, which I presume it will in episode 8.
Yeah.
Because they don't do it in episode 7.
No, which we're both really disappointed by. Yeah, that has to be. So just for this episode, that part was good and it was really exciting and really intriguing.
Yes. You just want more.
We want more. So I feel like that's something we have to think about for later. But
yeah. So I said I wanted to be succinct, but we spent a lot of time on that point.
Sorry.
No, it's good. It's like
to us. Maybe it's not. Let us know if you thought the same.
Yeah. But don't give spoilers.
Don't give spoilers. Yeah. But to quickly, obviously, move on to the other parts. We had Dustin and Steve made up.
Yes. So Dustin kind of spilled his heart a bit, right?
Yeah.
Saying how he's like just doesn't want to lose Steve the way he lost Eddie, and he like loves him so much.
It breaks your heart.
That was a great scene, actually.
Great acting.
Yeah.
Really good acting. And I feel like it was a really nice moment for Dustin's character, because he's been a really loved character by everyone, really.
Yeah.
But he's not had a lot of super prominent scenes necessarily. And I feel like that one just really showed his acting ability. And he's a great actor. Like, it was very good.
And he's good at those emotional bits. And
very good.
A lot of the time they've made him be a bit snarky this whole season.
So snarky, but I kind of like it.
Which is good, and he's done it well.
Yeah.
But
it's nice to have the raw, emotional.
Sweet Dustin again.
Yeah, it was sweet. So that was quite nice.
Yes. And meanwhile,
Nancy and Jonathan.
Again, they're like, oh, they're going to die.
Yeah.
And stuff. And spoiler, they don't die.
This is another thing. I was very confused by it. So Jonathan and Nancy talk obviously a lot, and then it basically was kind of like, oh, you spent time with Steve. My interpretation from that whole conversation where he gave her the ring, unmarrying, unproposing, whatever that situation was.
Will you never marry me?
What I thought that meant was that she spent time with Steve and realized, oh no, I don't want to be with Steve, and that I'm not ready or don't really want what he was wanting, which was a family and kids.
Yeah.
Therefore, I'm happy to be with you as long as we're both open and honest moving forward, but I'm not ready for marriage. So I'll take the ring because it's like, we're about to die and it's a nice thing, but like I don't want to get married.
Yeah.
Apparently it was a breakup scene and I didn't even pick up on that at all.
Yeah. Like I get why it kind of came across that way.
Because it was so romantic afterward. Like during it was quite like intimate.
My reading of it was that they love each other and in another time they'd be together.
The classic.
Perhaps, but at the moment they want different things.
So they can't be together.
So they're not going to be together, but she doesn't want what Steve wants. She and Jonathan are not clicking, so she's going to go and work on herself. So that's all. Well, which seems like they have a bit of plot armor, these two.
They do. They have so much plot armor.
They're not going to die.
No. Yeah.
Let's be real.
It was an interesting kind of part that, again, I had completely misunderstood.
Yeah.
And then it just felt like, oh, okay, they're going to die. And then they don't. I can't remember if that was this episode or then.
It all just solidified suddenly, didn't it?
It just sort of.
The melting goop just.
Yeah.
Hardened. I guess because the thing restabilized.
Yeah.
Again.
Emotional roller coaster. It felt like a moment to make them have the emotional conversation.
Yes.
But it didn't really mean anything outside of that. Whereas at the time I thought it meant more than that, but it clearly didn't.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, they're actually going to die and it's going to be really awful and sad.
Yeah.
But it was more of like we need to get these two locked in a room where nobody else can be so they can talk. Yeah. And this is how we're going to do it.
Yeah. Actually, that's true.
That's kind of valid. Looking back, that's what it was. But obviously, at the time I didn't notice that so much. But now I'm like, oh, okay, that's all it was.
I'm not like a huge fan of when it's like these people are gonna die and then nope, last second no.
Yeah.
Like the cliffhanger from the end of episode 5 is like, don't do it, you're gonna die. They shoot it and then no, they don't die. And then they're in the room, everyone's melting. It's like it's all coming up. Oh, they're about to die, and then.
There's only so many times you can do it before it gets like a bit jarring and a bit old, right? Like also, it's okay occasionally, but when it's the same character multiple times, it's like, okay.
It also
doesn't matter what they do.
It lessens the jeopardy, right? Because they might then switch it and everyone suddenly dies.
Yeah.
But you just start to expect, okay, well the main cast are not gonna die. So the main ones are fine. Anything they get into, they're going to just scrape their way out of, and all the peripheral characters are going to die.
Yeah.
Which has kind of been the way the whole way through.
A little bit, to be fair, yeah.
Because there's always been just side characters that die. Everyone else is fine.
Yeah.
Which is understandable. Like, not every show has to have people dying.
No.
But for me, personally, I like stuff where the goodies don't always win.
No, exactly.
And stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it's nice to have kind of the character arcs and to see the relationships really build and flourish and things like that. It's quite nice. But I feel like you don't always have to put it in a situation where they're at risk if you don't want there to be risk, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, they could have just had that conversation any other time.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have it in a heightened emotion. But so again, it takes it.
Would spill their guts because they think it's the last time they can.
I know. So I can see why they did do it. And it was still a good scene in that sense. Like, I did still feel like, oh, something's actually really going to happen here. And then it didn't.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Yep. So I'm sure loads of people probably loved it.
Yeah. It was a here nor there. It was a decent scene, but not probably my favourite part of the episode.
Yes. Yeah. Although my least favourite part is still to come.
I was going to say, we could skip to that part, can't we? So, obviously, Vecna, when he had Will pinned up, he saw through Will where Max's body was, because Max is just like a thorn in his side, and he just needs to get rid of her at this point. And so he sends the demi-dogs to the hospital.
Yes, where Lucas already is trying to bring her out using Kate Bush.
Yes. Love a bit of Kate Bush. Nice to have that back through there.
Yes.
Did enjoy that. I will just say the one moment that felt kind of odd, I guess, was Lucas running with Max into the elevator, and all it took was one kick for the dog to like fly back, and then the doors shut, and the dog just do you know what? It actually got back onto all fours and was kind of like back barking almost at him again. It's like, it would still be charging. Like, I thought it would be like slamming into the door and a bit more.
I mean,
you know?
they're kind of, but
it's okay.
They definitely made them in that moment more dog-like. Like if a dog is running at you and you do kick it, it probably would fall back and it would
be
like,
a bit shocked,
be a bit like shaken.
Yeah.
But the demo dogs are a bit more intense than
exactly.
dogs.
Yeah.
So you would have thought they would carry straight on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think in the reaction as well, I was like, oh wait, he just kicked
You were confused. You were like, what happened? I was like, he kicked it.
And I was
I think you didn't
really
realize what happened because it was.
Kick just did that.
Yeah. So that was a bit like, but such a short period of time doesn't matter.
Yeah. Okay. And then so they like escape into the hospital basement.
Room,
I guess.
Yes.
And this kind of felt, well, Lauren hasn't seen the movie yet, but so yeah, cover your ears, I guess. But that kind of felt like just straight out of Jurassic Park.
Yes. So can I comment, because I haven't seen Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
So me visually, just for that scene,
yeah, okay.
it looked so cool with them all sitting on the ground and then looking in that reflective mirror.
Yeah.
That was epic. Like, that was so cool. Like, I obviously haven't seen anything that's shown that, so I'm assuming this happens another time.
So cool to come up with that idea.
Yeah. If you genuinely, if you're like me and you've never seen it before, you're like, that is so amazing. Like, you would be cowering, and how terrifying that you're like, you can see them and they can't see or hear you just yet, but you can see they're getting closer.
Yeah.
That was so cool. However, if it's taken from something else, I can understand where you'd be feeling like,
I am perhaps maybe just a bit jaded or something. I don't know. Like, it's okay to just reuse stuff from other great things, because I mean, presumably every idea has been used at some point.
And if it was
so
great, it was great, you know.
And it was great.
And I did think it kind of worked in this scene. Like, I think it did still look very cool.
It did work. It worked perfectly, and it wasn't like they tried to pretend it's not. I'm sure they're like, yeah, this is 100%.
Yeah, it's been
straight
excellent.
from this.
Yeah.
And so that was a good moment again of like tension and fear and everything like that. And then the bit that just killed it for me entirely.
This dropped Harry's score probably quite significantly for the whole episode.
I personally, I hated this bit.
Yeah.
Where Mrs. Wheeler, with her slashed up and all bandaged up,
barely able to talk,
barely able to walk and talk, sneaks in, puts some.
It was an oxygen tank into like an industrial cleaner. Yeah.
The demo dogs hear
silently. No one heard it to start until it started going.
The demo dogs go over to it, looking into the tumble dryer.
Wait.
What do Americans call it?
Oh,
because
like
I don't know.
Yeah, dry cleaner. They take the.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
The thing that dries your clothes.
I assume that's, I would have thought it was a universal term, but maybe it isn't.
Maybe not.
But yes, and they're all waiting.
They're right in front of it.
What's about to happen?
And it blows up and kills all three of them.
Nobody else gets injured.
No.
Nobody else gets injured. It's just the dogs around the
like emerges through the smoke, and it was just like, I hated it.
Yeah.
Personally, for me personally, I hated that scene.
Yeah.
How did you find it?
I think initially I was like, yes, like something's happened. This is good, and like she's being a protective mama bear kind of thing.
She already had that.
I know. Thinking about it again, I'm like, oh yeah, it was kind of like a bit too classic and a bit cliche. Probably could have done. Do you know what? I think I might have said it in the debrief at the time as well. Is that I actually thought it was going to be Robin was going to like almost sacrifice herself and do something, because that felt like she would do that because she was with her girlfriend, and it was really like she's just really had this big character arc with like protecting everybody and protecting Will quite a lot and encouraging Will a lot. I really thought it was going to be something more like that, and I thought that would have worked. Yeah, and it didn't have to be that type of thing, but I thought maybe there'd be something.
Draw them away.
Yeah, because I think initially when I saw, there was like a hint towards it with Mrs. Wheeler and the oxygen tank.
Also, I love Mrs. Wheeler, just for the record.
So it's a big no, you don't like it. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But I thought when I saw that, I thought she was going to do a flamethrower like Mrs. Wheeler, because, but then it's kind of cool in a sense they didn't, because they've done the flamethrower a lot.
Yeah.
But then I think I am disappointed with what they did instead.
Also, because she already had that moment.
It didn't feel needed.
When, to be fair, she should have died in the last moment as well, when she was defending Holly.
Probably, yeah.
Like, again, I'm sensing that the show doesn't want to kill people, which, fine. Wouldn't be my choices. But when she was defending Holly, that was like fierce mother bear.
Exactly. It's exactly what you do as the mom.
She got in a lot of hits that she probably shouldn't be able to get in with the wine bottle or whatever it was. And then she was obviously slashed down. And I feel like she probably should have died then.
It felt like she wasn't going to make it because she was so injured.
Yeah. But so she got that moment, and then it just kind of felt like a rehashing a little bit.
Yeah, it didn't feel needed.
Yeah. And so that kind of bummed me out a bit of that episode. Because I remember at the time feeling quite suddenly down on the episode because of it. But then when we've kind of been re-planning these reviews, all the bits leading up to that,
it's still good.
Like the highlights, the highlights of the episode, which is quite a lot of highlights. They were really good.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed.
Exactly. You just have to take out a few
reviewing the highlight moments. But then, there's a few bits of lots of chat. Mm-hmm. Like when Max and Holly were running out.
I was just about to say, can we please just get to the end part? Yeah. Are you, like, first of all, Holly had some really great lines. They were quite cute and they were very funny. Like, I don't have a boyfriend. Who's Kate Bush? I don't have a boyfriend. And I'm like, yes. Like, it was so funny. And that was
Holly's great. I really like Holly.
Loved it. Great scripting. In the chatter there, get your boots on, start running, girls. Like, Max, you've done this before. You've run to it before and you've been like, it's just drop of the hat. You lost your chance.
Yes.
Why are you mucking around?
That's the main reason why it was like, just run, please, just run.
We do not have time. Like right now, we do not have time.
Like they could have maybe given the speech a little bit earlier.
And also just like a bit snappier. I don't think we needed too much.
It was nice to kind of realise that it isn't music that brings you out. It's the connection to people or connection to something you love.
Yeah.
That brings the port.
And just like kind of, it's also you can do it for yourself. Like you can kind of empower yourself to do this. Like you're stronger.
She made it herself.
Yes, you're stronger than Vecna. Like you're not just this vessel and you're not weak like he says you are. And to be fair, I did think it was a really sweet moment between the two. And I think
it was a very
it's a nice like sisterly moment, like older sister to little sister. So I did really like it. However, like you need to be running.
Yeah,
and
all the dialogue was really good. All the dialogue for it was good, and it was all poignant, and all this messaging that they put across from it was really good for it. It was just like, in that very moment, we need to get out now.
Do you know when they should have done it? Is when they were digging through the mine shaft, like after they saw the Henry thing. They were both digging through the rocks, and you started to see the red. That's when they should have been having it. Yeah, and then it was like they get through and they look and they just sprint.
And like you see Vecna
and that should have been the end of it. And I really thought at the end of this, I was like, right. They haven't gone all the way through at the end of the episode, cliffhanger again, someone's getting snatched back, or like it was going to be like the prong thing that Vecna did with his arm. He did it one time, the prong, in season 5, in the first half of that, I can't remember who it was like to
someone.
Yeah. I was like, he's doing that to Max. He's got to be. And it would look epic. But obviously we'll leave that for episode 7 because that's what we talk about then. But I would say, the running, a little bit slow off the mark, felt a little frustrating. And just circling back to what you're kind of saying, I feel like looking at the highlights, there are some great highlights in these first 2 episodes particularly.
Yeah.
But there was a couple of moments that I feel like it ruins it. Or like it brings it down a notch.
Dampens it.
Dampens it. And I feel like if they were taken out, I feel like I'd be more hyped and more excited. But there was still like little bits where I was kind of like, oh, okay. Yeah. And I feel like I'm just not feeling as hyped for each episode as I was particularly in season 4.
Yeah.
And then obviously at the end of like episode 4 in season 5, like the end of that, I was like, I can't wait a month. Like this is too much. It's too good.
Yes.
Whereas now I'm kind of like, nah, like, the next episode will be good. Yeah. But I'm not like dying to see it kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's fair. So your, I guess, overall summary? Well, I guess that was an overall summary.
Yeah, that's the overall summary. I think
a ranking?
Compared to the previous episode, I feel like it's similar par.
Yeah.
Like I would probably give it, if I gave the last one a 7, I'd probably give this a 7 too.
Yeah.
Like for me, both had good moments. Both had moments that I didn't particularly love. There were some acting bits that I was a bit like, oh, it's a bit uncomfortable. I feel like I wanted a bit more to take it up to an 8 and a 9. But I also feel like there could have been moments that could have taken it lower and it didn't. So I think I'd say 7.
Yeah. I think I was pretty much the same as episode 5 the whole way through. I like really liked it. Again, I was talking about the highlights. I think they were really good. The Mrs. Wheeler thing just bummed me out. Like,
Yeah,
so
that's fine.
without that bit, I probably would have given it a 7 as well.
Yeah. Mrs. Wheeler takes you down to a...
Still a 6.
Yeah, okay.
Like it's still a good episode.
Yeah.
Still a good and good progress of everything.
Yeah. But just wasn't needed, you know? Just wasn't needed.
Yeah, like you say, like if you'd
Could've
have had
been
a thing where Robin sacrificed herself for it, like that would have been like devastating.
Exactly.
Almost. And that would have taken me up to like even higher.
Exactly.
And if maybe you didn't keep just edging everyone with Jonathan and Nancy dying and not dying.
I know,
like,
there's
maybe
been
that
a
would have
lot.
taken up a little bit as well. But being a bit harsh, a 6.
Yeah. No, I think it's fair. There's some good moments, and there's definitely some moments where it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's a good wrap up of episode 6.
I know, I was trying to be succinct and I feel like we went longer.
We were not succinct. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
We will now go on to episode 7 and just give like a 7 and plus an overall debrief.
Yeah, mid-season finale coming up. Okay, episode 7, the second mid-season finale for this season. Mm-hmm. Should we run through it?
Yeah, we'll do a run through and our thoughts on the episode at the end. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, Max escapes. There wasn't my cool little moment of her being pulled back through by Vecna. So she escapes.
Max.
Not for Max.
Yeah.
So, nice, I guess, that she got to go back through and reunites with Lucas. I will say the one positive of that was that Lucas had a really great acting scene. I felt like it really highlighted his character.
It was really sweet.
It was really sweet. I feel like he played the role really well. So, it was a nice moment. And
that was a good scene.
obviously, Holly didn't make it through.
No. Well, she got through her portal, right? Into her body, which is in a tentacle wall.
Yes.
So she's still
so she didn't make it through. Yeah.
Essentially. And then she is run away, and then she finds a gate to the upside down.
Yes.
Right? So she's in the abyss world.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
With Vecna's tentacle wall.
Yeah.
Finds a gate to the upside down.
Yes.
Dives in head first.
Which
Very committed.
Yeah. Looks really cool as well. Like, I do love when they flip it for a second and it's like all upside down and stuff. That did look cool.
And she's just falling towards the power plant.
For so long.
And Nancy hears her and is like running to go
find Holly.
And then cuts back and forth a few other scenes, but essentially this continuation of this bit, you see that she's then just suspended in the air.
So close, yeah.
Almost there. Which would she have landed safely? I don't know.
I don't think she would have. I don't
would she have died?
Yeah, it would have probably been pretty brutal. So kind of glad she didn't just go face plant into the ground.
But
then
either
she
way,
was
Vecna had
got her,
suspended her, and then
pulled her back.
Dragged her back up through.
So still cool.
Yes.
Just wasn't the way I thought it would be done. But I'm kind of glad that it was sort of what I thought it would be.
Still kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was kind of cool. And then he had her kind of floating behind him as he walked her back to the tree to reconnect her.
Yeah, so he put her back on the wall and took her back into the house mind prison sort of setup.
Yeah, one thing I thought was interesting is before she kind of got through the portal to the upside down, when she initially broke away, is that she coughed up all that mist.
Oh, she did, yes.
Which is something that Will had done. So now I'm kind of cautious that it's is she going to
have all that
well. And is it also just one of those things, again, in the back of your mind that one day the story could be reopened from her? Because Will didn't have the episodes straight away. It was a wee while before he started coughing stuff up into his bathroom sink, and then he started becoming more at one with the mind flayer and everything.
With that,
interesting.
When all the Demogorgons are dead and stuff like that, his connection isn't there though, right?
Yeah.
So I guess if they did manage to see that fully, she might be fine.
It could be, yeah. Yeah. Maybe. But I just thought it was interesting that she was coughing that up. So I'm I wonder what that means. But also I wonder what's being done to them when they're connected to the tree, because he's obviously infiltrated them a bit.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious as to, how that's all going to go for all the other kids as well that are pinned on the tree.
Yes.
But that was an okay scene, I thought. I thought it was all right. It was a bit of twists and turns.
Yeah, no, that was quite good.
Yeah.
It's she's almost there and then she's not.
No.
So she's, it's sad.
So I thought that was quite well done.
Yes. Then it's Dustin's explaining to the whole gang.
Oh, yes.
Because he's the one that found the book,
he's
right?
Worked
and he
it out.
knows the whole setup, and it's a bridge to what they're now calling the Abyss.
Yes.
The other planet. And kind of, trying to explain to them how the Upside Down isn't what they thought it was.
Yeah, and that Vecna wants to kind of draw the two closer together so that...
So he's wanting to merge the Abyss to Earth.
Yeah.
I guess just to make Earth his planet.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Suddenly just thinking about that, why not just live on your planet?
Well, I
If
think
you want
it's
Earth to be the planet.
to lead, I don't know, take control of I don't know.
But is he just going to kill everyone? So then is
Yeah.
it just the planet again?
Maybe.
Or maybe he's trying to... Oh, no.
I don't know. Is that like Abyss is like unstable, and so he needs to like merge them together to be. I don't know. Actually, I don't know why he wants to do it. I think he just does.
You just want to just kill everyone.
Possibly.
Just use the planet to eat another planet.
I feel so. This is what I mean. I feel like this kind of Abyss thing has been brought in, and it's quite confusing, and there's a lot happening. So I haven't fully processed all of it yet. So I don't really know if he even said what his reasonings were or anything, because there was a lot to take in.
Yeah.
But I will say with this episode, particularly around the like explaining and then like coming up with a plan, there was a lot of talking about making a plan
There's
and
lots of planning.
talking around plans and this and that, and they did the classic thing, and I feel like Stranger Things has done it a couple times, and it's always been kind of okay, but this season and particularly this episode for me, I was kind of like, okay, let's just not do this again, because it felt like it kept happening. It's like they're all getting really excited, everyone's talking over top of each other, and then one person quietly at the back has like the little eureka moment.
Yeah.
And then
which
it's
is
like
Steve.
Yeah, which is Steve, which is fine. But then they're like, guys, everybody listen to me. And then he sort of, as he explains, everybody else is finishing his sentences as if they knew what his thought was. And I'm like, it's that kind of classic thing that they do, which again, it's fine. But it just felt like it'd been done a lot. Like, we don't need talking around the plans. We know what the plan is going to be. Like, just do it.
Yeah.
Like, stop mucking around kind of thing. So that for me, particularly in this episode, felt just really jarring. I felt like it wasn't needed. It felt really long. Just come with the plan and move on.
Yeah.
You know? It felt like too much talking.
And the actual plan is to wait for the planet to essentially almost
Be merged.
And use the tower from the radio station.
Yeah.
And then use 11 to invade his mind then. Sort of thing. And so, which, I mean, I'm sure it'll work
It's a
in the show.
Yeah, decent enough plan. It didn't feel like it needed 3 business days to come up with.
Yeah. And then they've got to like destroy the bridge or the upside down.
Yeah.
As they destroy Vecna to separate the Abyss from Earth. And then there's no connection for it ever again, sort of thing. So, yeah, break the bridge, no connection.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Which is fine.
I guess, yeah.
So we'll wait and see how that works.
Yes.
The interesting part around that is that 8 is insisting to like be involved in the plan, which we did think she was going to be, so that's fine. It's the way she's going about it, and then she's waiting until they're both inside Elle's mind to talk privately when no one else can hear.
Yep.
No one else can influence the decisions, and she's all sneaky and saying like, we need to both die so that nobody else can be made because it's so bad. And
yeah, so that's the main thing. Her mission, it seems, is to get Elle to blow up the bridge upside down.
Yeah.
Whilst Elle is in there.
Yeah,
so that
don't
Elle
leave.
dies.
Yeah.
And the reasoning obviously is so that they can't use their blood to make new babies and stuff like that. But it feels like it doesn't feel genuine.
It feels sneaky. The thought behind it I can get, but again, it's the whole waiting until you're in Elle's mind to talk about it privately when no one else is there.
Yeah.
And there's all these little quiet looks.
Well, everyone else would be like, no.
No, I know, but I feel like it's a group decision. Like, Elle was so upset when Hopper was going to do that and hadn't told anyone.
Yeah.
And then she's kind of doing that, like, even in the car at the towards the end, her and 8 just kind of have this look, this sneaky little look to each other. And it's just kind of like, I don't know what 8's intentions are. Like, if they're genuine, that's fine. The way it's coming across, and I hope I'm reading it right, but it comes across like it's not genuine. So I think there's more to her. And I have a couple of theories. I don't know, should I bring them up now or later?
Maybe do it at the very end.
Yeah, I've got a couple of theories about it that I'm not sure about, but there's something about her I don't trust.
Yeah, either she's not genuine or the delivery's off, because it's made me feel like she's really not genuine.
It does, right? It feels really sus. So that's kind of the talking around the plan part. To me, that was kind of the only bit that I felt like I needed, was those two kind of having that moment. I don't feel like I needed the 12 people in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's fine. It just felt like a little bit jarring and a lot of talking. Even with the preparation for going into battle, it felt like the same thing. It was just like a scene that we've seen before. Everyone's kind of gearing up, making swords. Like we had it with when Eddie was around, like they were making...
Yeah, which they kind of reference a little bit, right? Because they're getting all the weapons. And there's a nice moment with Dustin and Steve.
Yeah, that was cool.
Dustin brings those spears back out and like wants Steve to have one.
I liked that part.
Yeah. Because what just before Nancy had like told him that he's like no good at guns and stuff, and Dustin be like, he's actually really good at that kind of.
Yeah, it's just like that classic thing again. They just keep doing of like Nancy's leading the charge, like she's the most like experienced like person in the group, which like she is to a degree with some of it, but it also just feels like, I don't know, it just felt like it didn't need to be done. It had been done before. I didn't really enjoy that part that much. I only really liked the Eddie referencing with yeah, that was the only bit of that little scene I liked and felt was needed. Again, the rest of it I didn't feel like I needed to watch.
Yeah, throughout all the episode, there was quite a few chats.
Yeah.
Right? Which I know what they're going for. It's kind of the night before the big battle sort of vibe where everyone is having their little moment to chat with someone that they are really close to and all of that. It just didn't hit it for me.
Yeah.
In this delivery of it anyway. I know what they were aiming for.
Yeah.
But for me it didn't hit the mark.
Yeah.
It just felt like, okay, another little forced deep and meaningful chat sort of vibe, and then on to the next person to have another little deep and meaningful chat, and on to the next person sort of stuff. That's kind of how it felt like. So I didn't vibe too much with that aspect of it.
Yeah, for me that took the episode down a notch. I wasn't finding that there was as many enjoyable moments in the episode compared to the other ones.
Yeah.
And a lot of that was down to kind of the talking and the repetitive nature of things that I feel like we've done, and we don't need to kind of rehash them, I felt. So, yeah.
But then speaking of obviously chats, I guess the main thing of the whole episode.
Yes.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, one of the biggest revelations or moments, I think. Yeah.
Episode, as obviously Will telling everyone that he's gay.
Yes.
And being terrified to do so.
Yeah.
How did you find that scene?
I felt like Will's acting in it very good.
He's really good at all of
I will say
deliveries.
He was brilliant with the delivery, especially when he gets upset and is crying.
Yeah.
So good. Like he plays that very, very well. I feel like, it was a really like powerful moment in the sense of Vecna's trying to show him that when he tells everyone's going to turn their back on him and it's so lonely, and basically trying to convince them to not do it, not be on side with everyone, to convince them to make him feel isolated and to make him not feel confident to come help fight Vecna, because Vecna is like scared of him a bit, like, you know, So I can see why that was good. I think the speech was quite long. There was a lot of like, we are the same because we all like to play like Dungeons and Dragons, and he mentioned like loads of things which were really nice references to the episode. But for me, I was like, we're gearing up to go to battle. I feel like it could have been a little bit more succinct.
Yeah.
Coming from me, I mean, I'm going on about it anyway, so like I talk and talk, so ironic. But I think, overall, it wasn't a bad scene. The acting from Will was good, and I actually quite liked Jonathan's acting, the reaction, like the really tears in your eyes, trying to blink them out kind of thing, Big Brother. Like I can really see that felt quite real. I think they made the scene really good. Everybody else, here nor there, I don't feel like the reactions were particularly incredible. It was okay. Yeah, I feel like it was a tough thing to do. I feel like they handled it pretty well. Like in terms of the way that it came across, felt quite realistic, I guess. Like coming out in the 80s and 90s particularly would be very, very hard. It wasn't socially accepted, and he was really worried about how people would react. So I felt they handled it quite nicely.
Because obviously we didn't grow up in that time period. Like, the entire time I've grown up, it's like not a big thing.
Yes, not so much.
It's like okay, like which is I guess exactly how they all reacted to it.
Exactly.
Like, you're gay. It's like also they all kind of knew.
They all kind of knew, which I found was kind of funny because they were trying to make it like it's this big thing that nobody knew about. It's been referenced quite a bit in the show actually, which I found quite funny because it was like
I feel like that was kind of a nice moment though, is like thinking back on it now and trying to actually review it. Everyone knew he is gay. I'm pretty sure they did mention it quite a few times in earlier seasons. Like Mike tells him you don't like girls. Like there's all stuff like this that everyone knows, but it's more Will saying it out loud.
Exactly.
To right?
And Will accepting himself.
It's not the fact that them all actually learning it or hearing about it or that sort of stuff. It's
saying it.
Will saying it out loud and being himself.
And living it.
Yeah.
He's finally living as himself. So that's what I mean. Like I felt like it was actually done quite well because I feel like that's how it would have felt and it would have gone.
Scene would have been very different if dipshit Derek was there.
Very different. Probably, yeah.
Very different scene.
Probably, yeah. Oh, yeah. He's a classic kid, that one. No, yeah. So I think it was an okay scene. I think it definitely hit me in the feels. It hit me in the feels when, like I said, seeing Jonathan's reaction, because you can just see how much they care for each other, and I thought that was really sweet. I think I was maybe not necessarily taken aback by it. I think I just wasn't expecting that to be what would happen. Like, I think they were, in theory, coming up with all these plans and like charging up for war, that I was kind of like, oh, like this is really not what I thought he was going to say necessarily. Like when he was like, I've got a secret, I was like, oh, okay, I'm assuming that's what they're going to say. But it was almost like I thought he was going to reference more about something that Vecna had said or done.
Yes.
So I think I was kind of like, oh, okay, this is not where I thought this was going. But yeah, I think it was okay. I think it was really good acting for what it was, though.
Yes, it was. And I remember very much in the moment reacting to it. I was like, yeah, everyone knows this sort of thing.
Yeah.
But like, again, sitting down and being able to actually think about it and then talk about it like we are now.
Yeah.
It does make more sense how it was very much just more Will coming to terms with himself rather than everyone else was just could have been cardboard cutouts.
It didn't matter.
It was more him just sitting there and saying it.
Yeah.
I think, I can't remember what my reaction was during it. You'll be able to watch it on our reaction if you want to. But yeah, it's being able to sit down and think about it and do it in this manner, it kind of feels a little bit more poignant.
Yeah.
I think
it does feel more prominent
than I gave it credit for in the actual moment.
Yeah.
I think.
I think so. I think I feel the same. I feel like, because I think it's just not necessarily the whole, truthfully, the whole episode is not how I thought it would go at all. No. So I think at the time I was kind of like, after the whole episode, I was, and even just as the episode ended, I was kind of like, oh, that was all? Like, that was all that episode was?
Yeah.
But yeah, looking back at that scene particularly, I'm like, oh yeah, I can see why they did it and how they did it, and I can appreciate that.
After the fact,
definitely.
the scene is better for me than when I watched it in the moment.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is quite hard with actual reactions.
I know.
Because you're having to like watch it and process it and then react how you would do, like in such a split second.
Exactly.
That is, sometimes it's nice to be able to sit down and do it in this manner
and
as
think
well.
about it a bit more. Yeah. But I think, so that was kind of the big revelation of that.
And he tells the 11 that he's going to go and fight with him.
Exactly. He gears himself up because now he's like truly believing in himself and things like that. So that's quite nice, because we always thought he would go fight with them, but it's nice that he feels
now he's ready.
Actually ready because he's kind of got that off his chest. So that was good. And then towards the end of the episode was them obviously getting kind of back into the upside down.
In the truck going, breaking through the military complex sort of thing.
And this is where it's got very interesting, I think.
There's a couple of things throughout the episode which just don't, again, vibe with me that well. When they're breaking in, obviously they use the radio to open the gates, that's all good and stuff, and like Hopper flanks the guards and stuff and takes him out, and that makes sense because he's a military veteran. And he
was kind of prepared. Like,
and he's ready to go for it.
Yeah, he knew where they were and they didn't know where he was.
I'm struggling a little bit with Nancy.
Just popping up and
just because she's in the middle, like, so they're driving the truck in, she's in the middle surrounded by the military guards who are all presumably well-trained military.
Prior to this, they've been pretty good.
She pops up, so
in a stationary car.
Stationary thing, her head's out the thing. Everyone's technically surrounded her, and then she just like takes them all out and then carries on. So it's just like, okay. Yeah,
it felt like she couldn't possibly have done that by herself. It felt like if 2 or 3 of them had popped up, yes. Like if Nancy and like Steve and Jonathan or someone, you know, like if 3 of them had gone, that would be fine. But it's like, how is she a lone sniper? You know, like it just felt a bit like, I didn't love that particularly. I can see why they did it. It felt, again, probably not needed. You could have just like charged on through and kept moving. I don't feel like we needed this big, because the fight is not about, the fight with the military is not what this is about. It's not the big moment. We don't really need it. Yeah. So I feel like they're just doing it to show that there was a bit of resistance. But again, I think if there wasn't much, I wouldn't have been too worried.
Yeah.
And I think,
So that little scene, I was a little bit like,
I thought it was a bit lackluster considering it was the kind of ending, towards the ending of this episode.
And another similar scene to that was earlier on when Dr. K just like manhandles the military commander.
The other military guy.
And I get that he would like not put up a fight and stuff, but she like fully like slams him against the wall and is like pushed him around and like dragging his face around and stuff. This is an old lady, a military commander who obviously he's not fighting back, but you're still not going to ragdoll him.
No, they'd be me trying to do that to you. I can't do that. Yeah.
Like, you're still not going to ragdoll him.
I know.
And so there's like a few things like that where I'm just like, okay, sure.
Yeah. There's a couple of bits where I think I felt the same. I felt like it made me not enjoy the episode as much as it could have. I feel like for me personally, there was definitely less highlights in this episode compared to the previous two. But I will say, just before we kind of get to final thoughts, one of my favourite bits was obviously the very last scene with Vecna and all the kids sitting around. They hold their hands and their heads snap back. Yeah. Really loved that. It looked great. It was really exciting.
Great image, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was, however, a very small part of the episode. And I felt like I needed more. I wanted more of that. So I think my overall thoughts for this episode, admittedly, afterwards I felt, I'd say disappointed is probably
I felt very underwhelmed in the immediate reaction of it. I know if you watch our reaction, my immediate response to the episode ending, and then I think when we talk in the debrief as well, I'm like, I'm not feeling this episode at all. Again, going through the highlights in this format, it makes me feel like it was better than my immediate reaction was.
For me, it's still not as good as the other two.
No.
I very much thought I could have done without the episode, to be really honest. I feel like I could have not watched this and I could just go into the next episode and I would be fine. Like, obviously there was a few bits you kind of learn, but you actually don't advance the storyline that much when you actually think about it. We don't particularly learn anything new about the Abyss. We don't learn anything new particularly about Vecna, what his plans are, what his history is, nothing like that. We learn about Will obviously feels like he's a bit more empowered but I feel like he was already kind of on that journey anyway, so it was nice to have that like episode for him. But I feel like, again, if I hadn't watched the episode and I saw the next one, I wouldn't be super shocked because he's already bossed himself up once and taken out like 3 demis in like a go. You know, like it's not unheard of. So I just feel like for me it felt kind of disappointing, and I felt like because we sat down and watched all 3 back to back, the way I felt after the last episode made me feel like I didn't enjoy the previous 2 either. Like I think I felt all 3 of them weren't particularly enjoyable. Looking back now, I did still really enjoy the first 2. The third one for me wasn't my favourite. Definitely my least favourite probably of season 5. I would say it's nearing mid to bottom for overall all episodes ever. I just feel like, not even from like things were particularly bad, it's just even like I just don't feel like we learned anything. The storyline didn't feel super advanced. For the second to last episode ever, that's where I feel disappointed. If it was in season 1, 2, 3, 4, I would feel differently. I think because I'm like, we are about to finish one of the greatest shows that's ever existed. I feel like, well, for me, you know, I loved it. No, but do you know what I mean? Like, I've really loved it. And so I felt like, oh, okay. You know, like that's how I kind of felt. And so I'm hopeful for the next episode, but I'm almost a little bit anxious because I'm not going into it
that it's going to fall flat.
I'm not going into it how I did at the end of like the first half of the season. Like that episode 4, I was like, yes, this is incredible. I'm not feeling like that. So that's a little disappointing.
I think I said it in the reaction as well. I feel like at the end of episode 4, you kind of felt Will's ready to fight alongside 11. Vecna's taken all the kids, and it's all about to like seriously kick off.
Yeah, it was really high stakes, really high stakes.
And then 3 episodes later, it feels like, okay, Will's decided he's going to go fight with 11. Vecna's taken all the kids, and it's all about to kick off. It's like, okay, well, we got a few filler bits. And there's like maybe a little bit of extra info around a little bit, stuff. But it's essentially at the same point.
And I feel like people were trying to like.
It felt like to me.
I feel like people would try to feel like it's been more character driven, which I would agree for those first 2 episodes, 5 and 6. Yes, episode 7, outside of Will coming out, there wasn't really any character driven moment. Like Max came back with Lucas, but like their relationship hasn't changed.
No,
Nothing
they've
changed
always
for
been
that.
like that together.
Yeah, so I feel like that the only thing that was prominent was Will.
Yeah.
Right? Like nobody else is like.
Hop and Joyce had a little moment
But
as
again,
well. But again,
not-
they've had those plenty.
But it's nothing's other than like
Yeah.
kind of 8 being a little bit sneaky.
Yeah.
I would struggle to argue that it was like a character-driven episode. Like I personally would struggle with that. Whereas
I mean,
I think
that was their goal. That was 100% what they were aiming for. And
I
that
just
was
don't
what
think it was
built
hit.
for. It
Yeah.
just didn't resonate with me and us.
No.
Probably, in that way. And apparently it did with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
I guess it'd be boring if everyone felt the exact same
exactly.
thing about
Everyone wants
everything,
different
right?
things. Yeah.
So, overall, with the episode, so what ranking? I know what, I'll go first.
You go first.
So, I think definitely if I gave episode 5 a 7, episode 6 a 6, I enjoyed this one less than episode 6 personally. Like there was a few good moments for sure, but overall, so I'd have to give it a 5. It's not a terrible episode, rather, it's still good. But yeah, if I've given the others a 7 and a 6, this has to be a 5 in my scaling.
Yeah.
Personally.
No, I feel I feel the same. I've given 2 7s.
Yeah.
I think this is definitely, I'd say 5.
Yeah, okay.
Definitely, because I feel there wasn't super prominent, like for me, super prominent action scenes or super prominent sort of character development scenes outside of Will. And I feel like to have a whole hour episode and to only have one scene that felt like it really changed things for me.
Yeah.
I feel like you didn't need a whole episode for him to have that revelation and to have that moment that could have been put into another episode and joint really nicely or something more kind of thing. I think I wanted a little bit more. Yeah, still enjoyed it. Still really good. And there's some really, like I said, really, really good acting moments in it. I feel like Lucas was really brilliant in it.
Yeah.
Will was brilliant in it.
Yeah.
And I feel like even Jonathan had a really brilliant moment in there too. And Max did too, actually, after Will's kind of revelation. I feel like her little, you're going to have to give me a hug and like, imagine I'm hugging you back really tight kind of thing. I thought it was really emotional, really beautiful, and I really liked that. But outside of that, there wasn't as much for me as the other episodes. But that's okay. I feel like we're still gearing up for a really great finale, and I'm looking forward to it.
I'm hoping it will be.
I think it...
I always worry. You get burned sometimes, don't you, with like previous shows? We all know the ones when it ends badly and it's like, oh, okay. Mainly because I want to know more of the backstory stuff of Henry. I don't think there's time to do all that. So I feel like I'll still have questions where I'm like, oh, I wanted to know more about it.
Yeah.
But,
that's the thing.
I guess we can only wait and see.
They've opened such a world of so many storylines and so many possibilities, and it's been really cool, and I've loved that. But because there's so much, there's just no way that everything can be answered in a way that everyone's going to enjoy it. I feel like some stuff has to be left, and maybe that's the hope, is that they'll leave some stuff and they'll come back and they'll redo like a prequel.
I mean, I'm sure that's what the studio wants them to do.
Yeah, so. I feel like they have to. So I feel like I'm trying to keep that in my mind, that there's a chance that we'll find these answers out, even if it's not in the next episode.
Yeah, I feel like that's cheap though. Like if you've got it in your show and it's been what's pushing you along and keeping people engaged, it shouldn't be like, oh no, wait a few years and watch this other show to finally like.
I know.
Like, no.
Yeah.
Personally, that's my opinion on that side of it. I don't like it when they do that.
No.
I know why they do it, obviously. Yeah. They want our money.
They want us to watch it.
But yeah.
Yeah. No, I think, wait and see. I'm still quietly hopeful for the next episode. I just, I'm a little bit more anxious about it than I was prior to these episodes, which,
But I'm more optimistic about it doing this review.
Me too.
Than I was
after
in
the initial watch.
Reaction to episode 7.
So we needed a bit of time to digest it. So it's good. It's good. We've got to wait a little bit longer for the next episode. Maybe that digesting time will bring us over the line to loving it.
Yes. And obviously this is very much a slightly different format review for us here on the channel.
Yes.
The reason for doing so is obviously just litigation stuff. But if you do want to watch our reactions, it is all on our Patreon. So please do feel free to check it out over there.
Yeah.
It will eventually come up here on YouTube as well, but just not
quite yet.
Quite yet.
Yes, well, that has been our review of the first 3 parts of the second half of Strange Things Season 5.
Yeah.
And we will be sure to be back, sort of soonish, for the next, debrief of the finale.
Yeah.
It's not too far away. Well, we hoped you guys enjoyed listening to us.
Yeah, and let us know your theories as well, unless you actually know.
Yeah.
Like if you somehow know exactly what happens, or maybe if it's something to do with maybe Henry and the play and stuff like that.
Yes.
Maybe don't put that in there.
No spoilers about things like that, but if you have, let us know your suspicions.
Yeah, if it's just a theory.
Yeah.
Even if it's a really good theory.
Yeah, let us know.
That's like almost guaranteed. As long as there's no like leak or something.
No, I don't think it will be. But yeah, let us know what your thoughts are. Are we on the same track? Did you feel the same? Was there something you enjoyed that we didn't, or vice versa? Let us know down below. We'd love to hear your thoughts on it.
Yes.
And we will see you guys again very soon.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
See you later.
Bye-bye.